days, and then they decided they weren't going to hit. So we started training again, and then they decided that they was going to send us to South Pacific, and so they sent us down to Fort Ord, California for a while. While we was down there, well, half of the division come down with yellow jaundice. That's a disease that they have over in the Pacific. So that knocked us out of going to the Pacific, which I'm very happy about. I'd rather went the way I went than go to that Pacific. I didn't.
Yeah. That'd have been worse.
But anyhow, then we got on a train, troop train, went across the United States to Camp Pickett, Virginia, and there we trained. Well, we didn't know when we was going to leave the United States. So, it took us 7 days to cross the United States on a troop train. We had to get out there so often and have calisthenics and keep limbered up. Some of us wanted to leave the train when we got to Kansas City, but we knew where we was going, so that was traveling awful slow. But they didn't even stop in Kansas City. We couldn't get off.
Kept on going.
So we kept on going. We got to Camp Pickett, and we trained there for, I don't know, about a month. And then we got on the ship at Norfolk, took out on the ocean, to Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, to go. We didn't know where we was going. They didn't tell us anything about where we was going to make the landing then. But we got out there on the ocean. We was out there for about 3 days, and then they told us where we were going. Got us acquainted with terrain and everything. We was going to Morocco, make a landing in Morocco. I've got a map here somewhere. Shows where we all went there.
Now that's North Africa, isn't it?
Yeah, it's North Africa. What's that map at? Here it is. Yeah, there's the map, and it shows all the places we went to. We started in Fadela. That's where we made the first landing. It was in Fadela, Morocco. And then we took Casablanca. That was our main object to capture was Casablanca. That was the biggest place in Morocco, and it didn't take long to take that. And then we started training again, so we could push over Rommel. He was called the Desert Fox. He was a German general. He was the best general Germany had. And then we went out for. But while we was training there, Christmas come, and we landed in November, and Christmas came while we was there. And we bought a pig or a hog from the natives there. We roasted a pig for Christmas dinner. We took turns, turned that old pig around, roasting that pig all night. And it was good though, good pig.
Did you have bacon?
Huh?
Did you have bacon?
Yeah, there's bacon on pigs.
Oh.
Ham, bacon. Good. But then we started off went across here, Algeria, pushing the Germans back. We got over here to Tunisia, and they finally gave up. Of course, we was going to push them into the Mediterranean Sea there, and we took a lot of prisoners.
Where'd the prisoners go then?
Well, they was, we push them back in here, and then while we was, after they'd all given up, when they were all prisoners, they started moving them down here, and then we put them, ship them back to the United States. That's where they shipped them back to the United States. Yeah. Then we trained again, and then we went to Sicily. It's an island that's owned by Italy. Sicily is big island there. And the whole Mediterranean got rougher than the cod. And it really got rough. And we were on our company was on a boat that had English sailors on it. It was a United States ship, but it had English sailors manning running the boat. And they didn't feed us very good on that boat. Of course, I didn't want to eat very much anyhow because I was sick. I was sick when I made this landing. I was sick when I made that landing. And we landed at La Carta in Sicily, and then we pushed all around this thing and went up to that, I forget what volcano that is.
Etna.
Yeah, Mount Etna. Well, we got into Palermo first, and at Palermo, I got to, Bob Hope was over there at Palermo entertaining the troops. And I got to go with Ernie Powell. He was a war correspondent. He wrote a book, Brave Men.
Yeah.
I got that book.
Yeah. I read that.
I went to the
Bob Hope Show?
to the Bob Hope show with him.
Cool.
He had a Jeep driver, and there was 4 of us soldiers. He asked us to go along with him. And so we.
Where was it that you saw Eisenhower?
Oh, I forgot about that. After we took Casablanca, President Eisenhower was general.
Before he became president.
While the war was going on.
So it's before
When I
Pearl
first
Harbor,
seen,
right?
the first time I ever seen General Eisenhower he was a lieutenant colonel. He was second in command of the 15th Infantry in Fort Lewis, Washington. And he wasn't there very long. And the next time we saw him was here in Morocco. He came over there after we took Casablanca, before we pushed off for this journey over there to push them Germans out of Africa. And he called all the non-coms, that's non-commissioned officers, that had served with him in Fort Lewis, and congratulations on so far of what we've done, and I got to shake hands with him.
Huh?
That's cool.
That was a thrill. Get to shake hands with the big general.
Yeah.
He was a 4-star general then. I didn't get to shake hands with him when he was lieutenant colonel. I just flew him. But anyhow, then when we landed there, we was under General Patton.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know about him. I've seen the movie about him.
Some have heard quite a bit about him then. Some people didn't like him, but I liked him because he was a good general. He'd come up on the front lines
Not this one
when we
too.
were fighting on the front lines. He would come up there.
Is that movie kind of realistic? Patton?
No.
No.
He shooting them guns at that airplane. Remember seeing that?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen the movie. I don't remember, but I remember him being a harsh man.
Oh, you had to be a harsh when you're fighting a war.
Yeah.
As,
But the
as you read.
but the movie wasn't that real.
No. And he never shot it. Patton never shot an airplane with his two pistols, I guarantee you. But anyhow, we took that, got to Mount Etna, and then we had to train there again before we come down here to the boot of Italy. And we started, and then we come up towards Naples, and after we got to Naples, they pulled us off. This took us, we was 59 days in battle all the time, all 59 days.
Yeah.
Straight.
Like, how many hours a day do you think? Were you really fighting? Did you sleep?
Once in a while we got a little sleep, but we didn't get a lot of sleep in them 59 days. It was pretty rough. We crossed one river there in Italy. Had to go across hand over hand. Our company did. And then the engineers built a bridge over. And then they took us off the lines there, and then we trained again and made the Anzio invasion, and that's where I got wounded. In Anzio.
Now, how did you get wounded again?
A big shell. We was advancing, and we had to go in front of there was a big building there, and we had to go in front of that building. Our outfit did, and then that big old shell hit that building, and it come back and hit me in the back of the neck. And that's where I got wounded, and that's where I went crazy. And I got the Silver Star.
Is that where you went to the hospital?
Yeah. And then they sent me back to Naples to the hospital. And then I stayed in the hospital for a week, I guess it was. They was gonna put some stuff over this skin over this wound, but every time they shot me 3 times. 3 different times to cover that wound up. And then they got people in where they was wounded worse than I was. I didn't never get to. So I got tired of that stuff. And I tore the bandage off and told I wanted to go back to Anzio. And they granted my wish, and I went back to Anzio. And we scrimmaged there in Anzio. They had us pretty well pinned down, Anzio, because they had higher ground than what we were on. Even had one big old, and a 16-inch gun that they'd run. It was on a railroad car. They'd run it out and fire down there on us. So we were there quite a little while, and when we got ready to